All right. Hi, my name is Morgan Fry, and today I'm going to be discussing Descartes, Kant, and Heidegger, how they connect to philosophy, how they connect to other philosophers' readings, and how they connect to, the entire semester, everything we've covered this semester. So let's get into it. So for the table of contents, I'm going to be I'm going to start with my introduction, and then I'm going to go over the 3 prompts given. I'm going to explain what Descartes, Kant, and Heidegger were up to separately, individually. And then I'll connect those to other works, which I'm going to be covering Plato and Aristotle, connecting Descartes, Kant, and Heidegger to Plato and Aristotle. And yeah, that's what I'll be doing. So starting off with the introduction, so Descartes, Kant, and Heidegger are very important in the world of philosophers. If you were to ask anybody to name a philosopher, they'll probably say one of those names. They're very up there in a philosophy hierarchy, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to be mainly focusing on their works, which are titled A Discourse on Methods, which is by Descartes, A Critique of Pure Reason by Kant, and An Introduction to Philosophy by Heidegger. So, those all sound very different. They're talking about different things. One's talking about methods, one's talking about pure reason, one's just introducing philosophy, but they're all similar in some way. You can connect them all together because it's all philosophy. No matter what, they are similar. And that goes with really any reading in philosophy. You can connect them all to each other no matter how drastic of a topic difference you're discussing in the readings. So, starting off with the 3 questions. The first one is, what is your understanding on Descartes, Kant's, and Heidegger's philosophies? What were they up to in the texts we read? And what are the connections between them? So, my main understanding of these 3 philosophers' works are that the main focus, overall, is to introduce new philosophical views and explain it to the plain human. Somebody who doesn't really know about philosophy. You can take, for instance, me. I didn't really know about philosophy before I took this class. I just thought that philosophy was just analyzing and thinking really deeply, but it is way more than that. It's a lot more complicated than I thought it was. But basically describing it to somebody who is not very familiar with philosophy or not very familiar on the topic that they are discussing. So also my understandings are that they are describing flaws in how we view the world to begin with, doubting the mind, our own experiences, and taking knowledge and experience into account of our thinking and our reasoning, bringing philosophy to those who have never considered it. Once again, me, for example, I never really considered philosophy before, and using philosophy as a way to come home to ourselves. That is something that has been said a lot throughout the semester. I remember, the first or second week being explained, what is philosophy? Philosophy is coming home to ourselves. And I was like, what does that mean? That doesn't really make any sense, but now I get it. It's, analyzing ourselves, our mind, our body, how we think, how we experiencing things, and using that as a way to come home to ourselves, to understand ourselves in a deeper aspect, if that makes sense. All right, so the second one is, how do these 3 thinkers' philosophies relate to our discussion of the importance of lived experience? Think especially how their views of knowledge and reality could affect our humanity. How do their views affect human embodiment? Do their views cause us to come home to ourselves, which is what philosophy normally does? Or do their views potentially cause dissonance between us and the world? So, while they all have different views, like I said earlier, they're all talking about different things. they can connect into their own way because it is philosophy. Heidegger's views mainly help us come home to ourselves, but so do Descartes and Kant. They're focused on shaping us as human beings and giving us a new outlook on life, thinking, our minds, our bodies, and many other aspects. They introduce all these different type of concepts, talk about experiences, how we live, and just giving us a new outlook on life. And in the end, their views do cause us to come home to ourselves, especially Heidegger's. And the third one is, how do you see our conversation of these three thinkers relating to the other philosophers throughout the semester? One way we connected them to the semester, well, Descartes in specific, one quote that really stuck with me that I think I heard, a good amount of times throughout the semester was, I think, therefore I am. I probably have it written in my notes about 20 different times. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but I know I probably have it written down at least like 5 times. That's something that we connected to a lot of different aspects of philosophy is I think, therefore I am. So what Descartes was trying to say with I think, therefore I am is that no matter what, if you doubt your existence, if you believe like I am not real, like I really don't exist, just remember that you are thinking. If you are thinking, then that simply means that you exist and you are real in this world and time frame. So you can't exist without thinking. You are thinking every single second of your day. There's probably not a single second that goes by throughout your day that you are not thinking. You're thinking about anything like, what time should I wake up tomorrow? What am I gonna do tomorrow? What should I eat for dinner tonight? Oh, I should go to this place. I need to go to the store and buy this. You are thinking about something no matter what it is, you are always thinking. And because you are always thinking, that means that you exist. Okay, so starting off by explaining Descartes and what was Descartes up to. So some main aspects I took from it were doubting existence and the concept that he created called mind-body dualism. So for doubting existence, Descartes was known for doubting his own existence and his own mind. Throughout his process of doubt, he realized that beyond everything, he is thinking. This led to the statement, I think, therefore I am. As a thinking thing, we can doubt, we can understand, confirm and deny, will, refuse, imagine, feel, whatnot, what have you. Even if the body and the world do not exist, I must exist. Because no matter what, the body and the world do not have to do with me thinking. And if I'm thinking, I exist. All right, so carrying on to mind-body dualism. Descartes also created a concept titled mind-body dualism, which is realizing how the mind and the body are separate, but we use them both in our lives for different things, mind, thinking, body for doing things, walking, eating, everything, anything physical. So the mind means intellect, and the body means senses. You have your 5 senses: smell, sight, hearing, touching. So basically, the mind is a thinking thing, while the body is made up of senses and takes up space in the physical realm. All right, so now talking about Kant. What was Kant up to? Kant was up to how do we know things and our experiences, in general. So Kant was mainly focused on how we truly know things using intuition and sensory input, we take in information to our minds that shape our world and our perception of it. You know, you see a dog, you create like a category for that. You envision how a dog looks, and then that allows you to see other dogs and be like, oh, a dog is shaped like this, that must be a dog. I hope I'm getting that right, but and you know, our senses give us information. You know, when you touch things, you interpret that to you. It sends like signals to your brain when you smell things, when you see things, when you hear things. I'm still missing a sense. Sight, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. I was missing tasting, I'm pretty sure, but I got that now. Anyways, so he also talks about our experiences. So Kant believed that we do not see and experience the world directly. Our mind shapes every experience we have in life. He also used concepts such as transcendental idealism. I'm surprised I got that right on the first try, which is also beyond or above and forms. He also wanted to dive, you know, deeper into thinking, which is he wondered if we can truly know things without experiencing them. And a good example that I came up with for that is a concert. Say you've never been to a concert. Can you truly know what a concert is like if you've never been to one? So, our given perception of a concert, you know, you see it, you know, on social media and stuff, you know, that there's like crazy lights and you sit down and you watch like your favorite artist play like some songs that they picked to put on the set list and whatnot. So can you truly know what a concert is like without being there? Because when you get to a concert, you don't know what it feels like to really experience that music live, like experience it in person. You don't know how loud it's gonna be. You don't know how like if you have like general floor emission, if there's gonna be like mosh pits or something, like how close together you're gonna be, how hot it's gonna be in there, what somebody's gonna sound like live, what seats are good and whatnot. I'm going on a rant, but yeah, can you truly know what a concert is without experiencing one? Can you truly know things without experiencing them? Can you know how food tastes without actually tasting it? What have you? All right, so finally explaining Heidegger, what was Heidegger up to? So he has something called Dasein, and what does it mean to be, and also the factical life experience. So Heidegger wanted to figure out what it truly meant to be. He looked at how humans live, behave, and think, what have you. He came to the conclusion that we are beings in the world and we are involved in everything. Everything has a relationship to each other. He called this Dasein, which is a German word meaning being there or being present, or simply just if you translate it like straight up, it's just being, but being there, being present. And he also created the factical life experience, which I actually really like learning about. So he also created a concept known as factical life experience, or FLE. This is the act of experience, which is the manner or how, and the thing experience, which is the content. Simply the things we actually live through on a day-to-day basis. A good example of that would be, you know, feeling tired after a long day of work. Finally, connecting those to other works. Descartes, Kant, and Heidegger to Plato and Aristotle. So, starting off with Plato, Plato was mainly focused on his beliefs of knowledge and deriving from reason, not from our senses. So, Aristotle was focused on everyday life experiences and how everything was related. So for Plato, I found it was easiest to connect Descartes and Plato together. Descartes did not trust the senses. Descartes only focused on thinking of us as, thinking beings. The senses did not determine us existing, but thinking did. I think, therefore I am. It comes up everywhere. And I connected Kant to Heidegger, Kant and Heidegger to Aristotle. Yeah. Kant believed that our mind shaped everything using categories of its own, and Heidegger explained how we are experiencing the world every single day and not just thinking about it. We are truly living in this physical realm, and we are experiencing everything we do every day. We're not just thinking like, oh yeah, I went to the grocery store. Like, no, like you were physically there. You experienced that. You didn't just like think about it. You were there. And he also urged to bring philosophy back to real life and to our existence. All right. In conclusion, what is the purpose? Descartes, Kant, and Heidegger provide us with different ways to view philosophy and the life itself, doubting our mind, our senses, and the world, determining and explaining how our minds shape the world, and bringing philosophy back to real life, determining our experiences and what they mean to us. They all tie into the mind, the body, the senses, and the experiences in their own way. And they want to show us how philosophy is way more than just analyzation and thinking, but it is coming home to ourselves. Thank you. That's all. Thank you for watching.